The drafting of Xavier Worthy indicated the Chiefs wanted to get back to the deep ball, airing it out against whatever defense was out there. And they really started out strong with that when he was a rookie. They wanted to showcase that. We remember the touchdown against the Los Angeles Chargers, but the offensive line play, the injuries to the wide receivers made things change. We saw the happiness, the ability to throw the football down the field, the explosive nature with which he brought everything into this offense. But things, like I said, had to change. We saw the shift after week 9 when the Chiefs lost to the Buffalo Bills, and they were still trying to air the football out to a completely different style of offense. It helped Xavier Worthy develop as a true wide receiver, and we are going to dive into his tape right here on RGR Football. My name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst, and like I said, we are diving into every single facet angle from Xavier Worthy's rookie season, how it's going to project forward, most importantly, how the Chiefs can continue to get explosive plays, and then what it might look like when everything is at its health and fullest extent in 2025. If you guys are new to the channel here at RGR Football, please hit that sub button right now and allow me to earn a like from you guys as we dive our way into tape. We've got some real numbers. If you guys have not gone over to NFL Pro, please do that right now, because you can subscribe. You can not even just watch film, but get into all the advanced numbers, the statistics that are really great over there. So let's go ahead and jump in, because I think this is going to be a very informative, very great look at what Xavier does and all the different ways that the Chiefs utilized him. Like I said, early on, we knew that this was going to be a player that was explosive, that could create big plays down the field, right? This is nearly a 20-yard route from Xavier here. This more like a 15 out cut, but you want to see the separation that he creates, right? You've got a stack formation down here. Travis Kelce can take inside. You've got on, this cushion right here from the Raiders. And I love what he does here, getting outside stretch, and he's going to really kind of give you that inside rocker intention, right? So again, he attacks outside feet first, pushes that DB back, and then run inside, right? When we talk about rocker step, it's where you're going one direction. So in this case, Xavier Worthy, again, from the line of scrimmage, he extends outside. So that rocker step is that 1, 2, and then break out. This is what he does right here, but it's not as dramatic. It's not that big in-cut step pivoting towards the middle of the field and then breaking out. But you see the separation he can create. But we saw everything with Mahomes being flushed out of the pocket, the ball not being, the pass protection from Wanya Morris on the left side wasn't really there for that play. So there's a lot that goes into everything that he can do. And again, down here at the bottom of your screen, this is an area of what we love to see about Xavier Worthy, right? The pull away speed. We know he was fast, but how can you consistently get after that? When you have a press look, right? This is more of a soft press look. Hard press is where you see the jam come, right? You see them want to get physical through the route stem, the ability to that first 5-10 yards. You see them try to be physical there. What I like about this, again, you got inside, like one-on-one right here. He's going to give a little bit of a stop and go. I believe both the receivers out here give it a little stop and go, but you see the difference, right? Off coverage allows you to kind of catch that receiver at the top here, one who doesn't have that speed, but also recognizing that this should be going to Xavier Worthy because of that press coverage look. Mahomes gets pushed out to the right just a little bit after he sees the left-hand side isn't going to be open. This should have been 6. He leads him a little too far to the outside. So we've already seen now 2 plays where they could have been big plays. They could have been explosive plays for the Chiefs. And really, they were unable to get a lot of these things going early on in Xavier Worthy's career. Not just because he was not being looked at when he was open, but because of the pass protection. Now, that last one we saw, he was very clearly open and the pass protection was there. Mahomes just didn't have that connection early on. And even Xavier has talked about his first season, really it was figuring out what Patrick liked. But you see what the scheme can also do to help out. You move Noah Gray from right to left, and then you have deep crossers, right? You've got Hopkins here, deep crosser. Xavier, deep crosser here. He kind of slows up too. You see him just kind of stop right there so Hopkins can kind of nudge the defender right behind him. But what also do you notice about the last 2 plays that we've seen? Press coverage, the want to get hands on Xavier Worthy, the want to be in that hip pocket to prevent him from getting deep. One of the things that people really knocked him on was that, well, he's small. He's not going to be able to play up against press coverage in the NFL. That was kind of short-lived. I think there are some things he can work on to get better hand usage at the line of scrimmage, better release techniques, but he has enough in the bag right now to be able, and we saw it as his rookie year, to get open and to create that separation against press coverage and against some of the contact that you're going to see through the stem window, the first 5 yards. So here, I actually posted this clip on Twitter as well, or Blue Sky, I can't remember which one it was, but you can see down here at the bottom against Patrick Surtain, this is the kind of, again, we've got that soft press where he's not going to be jamming at the line of scrimmage. Most defenses aren't going to jam Xavier Worthy just because if you miss or if he swipes hands away and he gets upfield, it's going to be 6. So you're going to see a lot of this soft press look going forward as well, unless you are a Patrick Surtain and you can jam him at the line of scrimmage, right? But you don't even see that here. You still see that off zone look. So outside jab step to an inside release, and then he leans into Surtain and he breaks him off. That's the kind of separation that we're talking about here. But against press coverage, here's another indicator of what he was able to do. Worthy generated 3 yards of separation against press coverage and 3.8 versus off coverage. So we saw as a rookie, he was still successful in creating separation against off coverage as well as press coverage. And that's something that, again, a lot of people didn't expect him to be able to do. But we've seen already, sometimes scheme is going to help you in that regard. Other times he's going to create it himself. The route running nuance is really there for him, something that a lot of speedsters don't have coming into the NFL. They don't have that feel for zone. They don't have that feel for being able to pull a DB out of where he wants to be. So I really do appreciate that look from Xavier to be able to give you real route running chops as a rookie. Here you had 3-by-1 formation that they turn into a 2-by-2 formation with Xavier again in a stacked formation. Now, this is where things changed. They started to do things a little bit differently, in emphasis on yards after catch, but he also got a lot more third down looks. This is a third down look from the Chiefs as well. You motion from right to left here, which gives that defensive look, right? We see, all right, this is man coverage. So if we can create space with against man coverage, we know Xavier is going to be able to win, specifically because at the end of the day, what you see from the right-hand side stack formation here is Juju Smith-Schuster's basically just running a screen. He's going to take the outside shoulder away from the DB that is currently on Xavier Worthy, who's just running a shallow cross on third down. But again, you see where he's got to go all the way around with man coverage. This DB has to get all the way back this way, and he's unable to really do so. And that's where you see that scheme come in. Again, shoulder takes away that DB. You still have man coverage here. So now Juju Smith-Schuster is occupied by 2 defensive backs here, and Xavier is going to be free, open, free and clear because, again, you see Travis Kelce here is just going to take attention. You've got the release here, attention from that DB. So we know on the left-hand side of the offense, boom, unless someone comes off of their route, they're going to be open for Xavier on that left side. So a really nice job. And one of the things that I really appreciate from the Chiefs themselves, that they didn't limit Xavier to just vertical routes. I think that they wanted to do a lot of that early on, but with the injury to Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice, things had to change. So we saw 4 different types of routes: in breaking routes, out breaking routes, vertical routes, as well as screens. Here in 147 in breaking routes, 111 out breaking routes. We saw those really take effect later in the season when he was working on timing with Patrick at the sideline. 196 vertical routes. A lot of those were early in the season. He still ran a lot of space creation for Travis Kelce, for other players as well, because he brings in defensive gravity so well. And then also 36 screenplays to round it all out. So this is another one where the scheme helps. You have stack formation on the right-hand side, so it's a 2-by-2, but he's scraping across. You've got play action out here. Patrick Mahomes is under center, something I hope that the Chiefs do a lot more of. So you have this natural bootleg action and scraping across, right, into the flat on the left-hand side, right here where this linebacker is going to have to try to, he has to adjust his route path based off of this. So free runner on the right-hand side, excuse me. So he's got to go up and in or up and around. Number 56, Highsmith's coming off the right-hand side here, left-hand side, excuse me. So he's got to go up and around. I like the ability to adjust his route, elusive, upright. They can be really useful. And I do appreciate what he does from there. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. We talked about how after week 9 things changed. So from week 9, so from week 1 to week 9, the average depth of target we saw was nearly average yards per target was about 14 yards, which is pretty crazy, right? So it's a long way down the field. You see him generating big plays. After that, from weeks 9 into the postseason, we saw that change to 6.5 yards per target. And in air yards, it's even more drastic. We see 11.3 air yards per target to 4.8 air yards per target. So lots of things were changing stylistically for the Chiefs offense. We knew that the inability to run the football and really pass protect were eating away at what they could do downfield. So the Chiefs changed things up. And again, we talked about the impact on third down. This is where they were able to scheme things up for him as well in third down situations. But you again, see Travis Kelce motion out. Okay, we've got man here. That's fine. So we're going to focus on this stack bunch here right there at the bottom of your screen. And again, with the inside release from Xavier Worthy, it's going to pull this DB, Derek Stingley, right into his path. Much like we saw with the Juju Smith-Schuster play, this is going to be another pick play, but I like the ability here, I like the tools that Xavier shows to stop, right? The return route, things that we saw, the whip ability that he brings right there. Nice little hip cut, hip turn, flips them outside, and he's able to get a first down here on third down against Derek Stingley, much because, one, good change of direction, but again, because of the scheme. Andy Reid does a very nice job of scheming up the short area game, and we know he can get open deep. He's done it multiple times. They missed. And I'm not going to include any clips from the Super Bowl in this one because I did a lot of that right after the Super Bowl. So if you guys want to see how he was able to get open and the amount of times they missed him in the Super Bowl where he was wide open for bigger plays and for more explosive plays, he could have had 3-4 touchdowns in that game, but he didn't because of the pass protection. So you guys can go check that out from just after the Super Bowl if you missed that. But the short area work and developing him as a timing player, someone who needs to get open now, use different route trees, right? We talked about all the different route types. They also moved him around a lot. He lined up at 293 snaps at wide, 156 in the slot, 17 tight, which means right up close to the offensive line, and then 10 in the backfield. That's going to probably end up being a little bit more as we go forward. They started to use him a little bit differently. But again, on the line of scrimmage, to the right-hand side of the formation as the solo receiver. This goes from a 3-by-1 to a 2-by-2 with that motion. And then Xavier, again, return route, boom, he's open on third down. He started to become a trusted player in large part because they could find ways to scheme him up, but also to be able to get one-on-one matchups in situations like this where you know he's not going to get like pressed. They're going to try to take away the short stuff quickly because they don't want him getting up to speed. So you see that change of direction right there. 21 converts all the way to the middle of the field, and Xavier sees that, obviously breaks down, gets out of his break very cleanly, and then they do a lot of that as well. So you love what he was able to do from a rookie perspective, right, as a deep ball player, but also adapting his game, right? We know the Chiefs had to do something differently. They had to do something different to be able to get him the football in space, but also to maximize what they could do as an offense. They could not create explosives, so they had to find ways without Rashee Rice, without Hollywood Brown until they came back later in the season to generate downfield plays that weren't just Travis Kelce. But what I like about this, again, this is pseudo pony personnel. What I mean by that is Xavier Worthy is a wide receiver. We know that. And what it does is it creates a matchup problem. So safety has to come down now over Xavier. So you've got number 23, Eric Murray, on Xavier Worthy. That is a matchup problem no matter what. But they're going to kind of motion him out just a little bit. Another interesting tidbit of information is that Xavier was used in motion 18.2% of the time in the regular season. And that jumped to 33.7% of the time in the postseason. That is where you want to see him. They need to use him in motion, allow things to change. And again, you motion him out here from the backfield. I apologize. I kind of skipped over it. Pony personnel is 2 running backs on the back in the backfield or on the field at the same time. Xavier is pseudo pony personnel. We see that a lot with the Chiefs when they use safeties on the defensive side, pseudo nickel, things like that, when they bring a safety into the box as a quote unquote linebacker. I think his ball skills match up very well with his ball tracking. We know he can go downfield, find that football. But what I think is the most underrated part is his hands while at the top of his route, right? So he's running towards the DB out of the backfield here. So he's going to kind of square up, force Eric Murray to keep his feet square, right? So he's not moving one way or the other. And then at the same time, once he gets up here, he's going to release outside him and kind of slap his hands away and stack him vertically. So as much as you may say he's not open, This is what open is in the NFL and why one-on-one situations like this make a lot of big plays. Eyes are now locating the football. Eric Murray is playing the receiver. You're always going to want wide receiver versus a safety in this type of situation because it gives him a unique advantage where this isn't a DB like Derek Sting, bring it down in space against one-on-one a safety. But this is where the scheme really comes into play. Red zone against the Buffalo Bills in the postseason. How are you going to be able to find ways to create favorable matchups? Well, first of all, we are going to go 5 wide. We've got 3 receivers to the left side and a running back and a linebacker, a running back and a tight end on the right-hand side. That gives you the matchup you're looking for. Buffalo has to match, right? So you look at the left-hand side, what do you see? You see a safety down here once again on Xavier Worthy, something that probably is going to have to happen continuously for him and for the defenses going forward, especially with hopefully, knock on wood, a healthy Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown. We see just, again, more pick stuff. So we're going to go here, you're going to go here, and we're just going to get you into space. Matchup problem central. Damar Hamlin in space against the fastest player on almost any given field is a one you're always going to win. Doesn't matter. He just can't keep up. So really nice job of executing the scheme of the offense. But what we liked about Xavier Worthy's rookie season was that it was kind of inclusive, right? He was able to develop more as the season went along because he earned some more trust. And then they were able to, honestly, they didn't really have a choice. They had to force him the football more. He had to learn more of the playbook because of the injuries, because the offensive line couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes. He didn't trust them, so the ball had to come out quicker. They wanted to air the football out. That was very obvious by his target distribution. But as things changed, as they had to go more yards after catch, it was about getting him the football in space and allowing him to use those tools and then continue to access different parts of the route tree that Andy Reid doesn't really want rookies to have to learn. The same thing happened to Rashee Rice in his rookie season, where he had to learn more about what was happening in the offense and specifically as a zone beater and in the schemed up parts. So what we're seeing from the last 2 seasons of rookie wide receivers, the trajectory, because of inability for anybody else to get open, because of injuries, because of pass protection, regardless, the development of these 2 young wide receivers, and specifically Xavier Worthy, now gives you a complementary deep ball and underneath player. And what he was able to develop last year as a rookie is really, really important for this offense, because if they can just get a running game going this year, if the pass protection should be better, right, can be better, we're going to see an offense that can access all different parts of the field. We know Patrick and Brett Veach have talked about how they want to get back to throwing the football down the field and really playing more loosely, right? Not overanalyzing the defense, as we saw Patrick do a couple of times, just playing free. Throw it on, let him run under the football at times, test these deep safeties, test these defenses that want to stop them from throwing the football down the field. So everything that we saw from Xavier Worthy as a rookie with the change, with the early season use, was all going to be very, very important to this offense going forward, especially because we expect him to be in Kansas City for a long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of everything that Xavier Worthy was really asked to do. I didn't include screens because no one cares about wide receiver screens and just showing you the things that he can do, because he's a lot more than just a speed guy, and the Chiefs really showcase that as a rookie for Xavier Worthy. So please, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that sub button. We can continue to bring you guys content every single week as we get closer and closer to training camp. I know it's getting rough out there as OTAs are about to wrap up, but please be a member here at Rogue Nation. We appreciate all the support you guys consistently hand us out. We'll have more content for you. Don't forget the Q&A on Monday with Ryan and I back finally after a couple of weeks off. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.